Halloween Horror Nights 2025.
Big announcement for the Quiet Place franchise.
They pulled back. They finally finished it. This BuzzCon toxic sludge is just kind of eating away the sign.
Okay guys, we're back at Universal Studios Florida. It's time for another massive Halloween Horror Nights 2025 update. Massive construction updates in the New York Scare Zone this morning. Massive props, story elements got added. We got other construction updates happening. We'll be talking about Horror Unleashed again, what's going on with that. But guys, you guys are crushing it again. We are less than 800 subscribers away from hitting the next tier and unveiling the next HHN artifact. If you didn't know, we're so close to kind of like dethroning the official HHN YouTube channel. Half of you guys currently are not subscribed who watch the videos. We have a little challenge now. If we hit 76,000, we're gonna have a reward to show you guys, 78,000 and then 80,000. So I own one of the largest HHN collections in the world. So I'm gonna reveal like a jaw-dropping artifact to you guys every single one of those tiers that we hit. Like your mind is gonna be blown. I promise it'll be worth the wait, but we got this. So on that note, it is time to talk about the Halloween Horror Nights shirt of the day. We're gonna go back to HHN 2019, the year of us. They had another year where it was on the Terror Tram. This is the main one where they had the Us haunted house. On the back it says, watch yourself, Halloween Horror Nights on the sleeve, and then Us on the other one. So on that note, let's roll the commercial.
It was a girl.
Okay, welcome back. I got here early in the morning, so it's not 105 yet.
Look how beautiful the water looks. The sun is shimmering on it.
Oh, I spot the truss work. Not any truss work. The main archway truss work.
This always just makes me sad when I see this. The scan the QR codes for the maps. I wish they stood physical maps, especially for HHN. That was one of the best like little collectibles you get, are the maps. I don't remember that light. I think that light's new. These lights are always on pretty much.
Well, it is a tall truss work. I don't think there's gonna be a stage on top because it's really tall.
Here's the main truss work. As you know, it'll say Halloween Horror Nights, but they're changing it for the first time in like 30 years. The Halloween Horror Nights kind of neon is gonna be blue. They got all the brace cables for the truss work to make sure it holds up. So they're gonna have the stage there, the first little one that the performer will be on, and then the truss work right here.
I really hope the truss work is actually decorated and not just two pieces of fabric. It's looking great so far with all the extra set pieces that they've added throughout kind of Minion Land.
We're on Hollywood Boulevard now. Time to see what's going on with the stages. Oh, they've added some moss and some vines. All right, so over here on the first gate, they've added the vines going all the way up the structure, and then also moss around the base of it starting to go up. So they also have, you know, the twig work going through the gate, again making it look like everything is kind of overgrown, and they're even having it work its way around the backside. I'm guessing they're gonna add some more details, maybe some more moss work, but again, every night they're gonna keep adding stuff, and we're like, oh, look at that, then they added that, then they added that. It's going all over here, all the way up the structure. All right, let's come over to this one over by the Bourne Stuntacular. Now the gate, they've added the twig work all throughout it, and then also the moss. There's more moss and more twig work done on this structure than the other gate, but it's going all the way around the base of it, and then on the other side, they have it right there, and you get a better shot of how it looks all over the gate. So if the gates are getting decorations, I wonder if the stages will get the vine and moss work on it. And then I'm not seeing any changes with any of the stages. They're all looking about the same, so maybe tonight they'll add some more details. But let's hop into Five and Dime, see if everything is all stocked. All right, we still got the Five Night stuff. Now again, this is kind of how we started to see the aesthetic of the years when they first teased all of this. The same kind of vine work going over everything and taking over the whole kind of structure. Now Wyatt 6 shirts are nowhere to be seen. They have a couple pieces of stained glass there, but they've replaced the Five Nights at Freddy's shirts. They have them on the other side, but they have Terrify over here, and then they brought Jason Universe shirts over here. So I don't think they're going to be restocked the Wyatt 6 shirts till the opening of the tribute store. And then everything's pretty stocked with Mel's over here, and all the Little Boo stuff is just chilling. Stage is looking about the same, but there are some differences with the other gate structure over there. Let's come over here and see all the new vine work and twig work and moss work that they're doing all over the structure. So they got moss going all the way around it. It's kind of looping around, and then it's also going over the gate, and then they added the twig work and vine work all over the gate. Again, I feel like there's a deeper meaning to the different logos within the gate that we'll find out eventually. So over here by the Horror and Makeup Show, they've added a little photo op for Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights 2025. It's kind of like the main logo artwork with the spider webs all over it, the vines, the blood over the stained glass. So that has appeared that you can take a photo with. And then during the nighttime, they'll have lights that'll illuminate the photo op. Okay, HHN bar, are you gonna have any movement today? Finally some movement. So they had all the benches here. All the benches have been removed. So that means tonight we will get the structures being put in here for the HHN bar. But yeah, they had all these different spots to sit, but it's all gone now. And they've added a little covering back on top of the little TV mount over there. All right, let's head into 9 Crooked Lane, see if they've hooked up all the pumpkins yet. But they've added some signage. They added a do not enter sign on the gate. Looks like they tweaked this twig to come out a little more, but yeah, it's all looking overgrown and gnarly. It's looking about the same. I didn't see any of the pumpkins be set up for today. They're not hooked up to the electrical. Did they run the yarn through the tree? I think that's what they did. And it's running around the hose now, the big yarn ball. But this all looks pretty much the exact same. Big changes over here. So the vines are going all over the tree, the rat down there, the giant human-sized hairball. The actual plant starts back here, and they're working the vines all over. So let's go around the kind of the interior of the structure first. So all the vines are all over there, all along the fence. Everything is looking so overgrown and good. But yeah, there's all the vines everywhere now. So they did that last night. Let's go on the opposite side and see how it looks. All right, so over here, the vines appeared. The main plant is going to be right there, and then they're running it all over the back of the structure. So before they kind of had a burlap piece of cloth. Now they've added a sheet that the performer can enter into and enter out of. They've also added a little chain here so that no guests will enter in there, because the performer will enter in there and then they'll be in their little boo hole. Today is the day of vines. And then back here, another cloth has appeared, another chain. Even the vines are running all the way along there, the tall grass. And then they're even running the vines along the electrical there, and then the final sheet with the final chain for the performer to enter this area. So I wonder what they're gonna add tonight. Again, every day they surprise us with a new little detail. Now over here they had the Bad Guys 2 car photo op, but it's now disappeared. They just have the poster.
They're adding the little touches on top of the house now. Look at this.
So last night they added that right below the roof. But then here's a porch. So they're gonna have a door here, the cat lady to come out on. I'm guessing they're gonna add even more to the porch. But they made, looks like a wood porch. Something's gonna lock in right there. This looks the exact same. Again, there's kind of the cat eyes in the window, but when we pull back, they finally finished it. They added the entire roof. There's a little section right there, so I don't know what they would put there. The roof got added. I'm guessing the porch will also go around this way. That's why they haven't enclosed this stuff yet. Let's look inside, see what's going on. Okay, yeah, so there's the rest of the, like the floorboards that'll go on the porch. So tonight, those are gonna be right here. They're gonna add probably that right there. So let's go around the back, see what's going on. I don't think they're gonna finish this side of the roof because it's not really in guest view. The performer will enter into the house right there. They're gonna have a massive porch, it looks like. Looking good.
Okay, so now let's talk a little more about Horror Unleashed. Again, we'll be there in what, like a week? Five Fires also revealed kind of how the food menu looks and what's on it. So for starters, there's gonna be the boiler bread, then the Cook's chili fries, the crow's nest, the Black Lagoon bites. Pizza skulls are returning. They're also gonna have tacos. They're gonna have a shrimp taco, a popcorn chicken taco, a churraco, which is a carne asada taco. I thought it'd be a churro taco. A twisted tater taco. For sliders, they're gonna have a brisket slider, fried chicken, pulled pork, and a market slider. Then also for salads, they're gonna have a salad called the Antidote, the Green Monster, Vampire's Flight, the Harvest, Then they're also gonna have flatbreads, Texas Chainsaw, The Reaping, The Believer, and then for desserts, we're gonna have the Queen's Kiss, Hay Bale, Death by Chocolate, and Now Presenting. So if you wanna pause the screen and you can read through the entire menu to see what you would like to try. So there's a lot of food to try, a lot of drinks to try, but I was talking to my buddy Matt, kind of like talking about how Jack and Chance looked, but they put Chance's tattoo on the wrong spot. If you look, Chance's tattoo normally should be right here, and then how they have had it placed for Vegas, it's on the wrong spot. Hopefully they work on the designs and how the costumes look and before the general public gets in there.
Speakers haven't been covered up yet, and the weird Blair Witch design still in this box. What does it mean? What are the witches and wizards trying to tell us?
So there's some new info about my boy Hami Kumai. He's kind of the HHN icon out in Japan. This statement came out. So Universal High tweeted out this. This is a quote from an article. Hami Kumai is going global. Starting this fall, he will be appearing at Universal destinations and experiences theme parks around the world. So there were some rumors about him coming to Universal Studios Orlando and Hollywood. So they said around the globe. So that makes us all think that he's coming here.
All right, so Louis is still open for right now.
Let's talk about the heavily rumored thing that's going to be potentially happening here. It's rumored that Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be popping up inside Louis for kind of like a pizza overlay experience. New York City finally has their set pieces. So this is going to be the Mutations Toxic 20 Scare Zone.
Over here, this is going to be the first stage that has popped up. Kind of has a little bit of a speakeasy vibe. So it's a massive kind of brick building. You're gonna come around here. Nothing's been set up, but it looks like there's two doors that the performer can enter into. There's one here and then one there.
I will say this whole scare zone is very similar to the Knott's Scary Farm one that they have right now with the Goring 20s. I'm interested to see what Knott's has to say about this scare zone because it's very familiar, let's just say that.
All right, so you have the stage here. Now it looks like there's gonna be a smoke effect or water effect because it looks like there's a drain that has appeared right there. And then also here inside these boxes, they have the mesh right there. This is probably gonna be a speaker right there. And then on the other side, this is probably gonna be a speaker right there. So let's go over the newsstand. So it's gonna be covered in all sorts of mutated gunk there. I'm guessing it'll glow. Let's first do a whole little walk around, see how it looks, and then we'll go into little Easter eggs. So some decorative elements. Here, there's gonna be a little stage. It's chained off right now, but the newspapers, again, kind of that vomit looking pus that's gonna like probably glow during the nighttime all over the side. Now the performer can scare through this window, so there's multiple boo holes, I guess. And then this is where the performer will enter. There's kind of an open mesh piece right there. I'm guessing a speaker might go there, but it's all just kind of like gnarly. Everything's all bubbled up. There's like some vomit over here. Even on the saltwater taffy, there's like vomit and ooze. And you come over here, it looks like someone was just coming by and they upchucked or they popped and they just went everywhere. Okay, so now let's start going over all the newspapers because this is gonna explain the story a little more. It's gonna be BuzzCon, if you know part of the HHN lore. BuzzCon spill, citizens turn into monsters. BuzzCon truck spill results in toxic chemical release. There's a bunch of angry people right there. Now this happens on October 29th, 1928. So I wonder if anything special will happen in the scare zone during that day. And then that's the same newspaper. This is a different one. So it's from Late Dispatch, Toxic City, BuzzCon Industries responsible ? And then over here, motor accident caused by bank heist has resulted in spilling of multiple gallons of chemicals, BuzzCon cargo supposed to be toxic. And then over here it says, authorities warn residents of crash site to please stay in homes with windows closed until street is cleared. So it looks like there's some workers right here, maybe from the factory. Something's going on with that. Now let's come over here and see what's going on. Gangster chase goes wrong. Police suspect Diamond Joe Malone and his gang. Public defenders missing and miss chaos in city. Diamond Joe suspected. So there's Diamond Joe right there. Rat poison causes mutation. Newest BuzzCon product has monstrous effect. There's a spill that happened because of a bank heist. I guess Diamond Joe was escaping and then they hit the BuzzCon barrels. Here we have some premium chocolate bars, some ginger and cinnamon, milk chocolate bars, saltwater taffy, chewing gum, cartoon funnies, jokes, and gags. We saw this newspaper. This is new. Bank heist causes pandemonium. Getaway car crashes into BuzzCon truck. And then it looks like the same newspapers on this side. BuzzCon, you did it again. All right, so here's a better look at the newsstand from far away. It's covered in all the gunk. All right, let's pop into the Mummy gift shop and go over the next little Easter egg hidden inside here. All right, so yesterday we talked about the cane from the Wolfman, but over here, this is a little Universal Easter egg. So you're gonna see Poseidon's trident right there. If you remember the Poseidon's Fury attraction, that's what that is from. Over here, we have, I guess, one of the getaway vehicles. The city police department. And they got the car right there. Now we saw these in Buy Reconstruct's photo over by the Fallout tent. But it's all blocked off, this car. No one's gonna be able to get near it. No guest is gonna be able to stand on it or sit on it or scratch it up. It's all behind a barricade. Over here, they also have a florist stand. They haven't added any of the decorations yet. But again, this BuzzCon toxic sludge is just kind of eating away the sign. People have just been vomiting or exploding all over this. It's all in here where you would pick up all the roses and flowers and everything. It just looks gnarly and gross. Over here, nothing's happened yet, but over here, someone popped or something. It's even down there. Let's walk around the back of it and see how it looks. So the performer's gonna enter in right there in that little door. So I'm interested to see how the scare is gonna work. Oh, but even over here, they have the gunk. And then nothing yet added inside. So I'm sure over the next couple nights, we'll get some stuff added. Then they'll cover it up when the grotesque stuff pops up. Okay, so here's how the florist shop looks from far away. Over here's the other car. This is the one that actually crashed, it looks like. Again, the city police department. And if you come over here, this is all kind of ripped up because they crashed. There's no engine in there anymore. The car crashed into this truck. This is the truck that probably had all the barrels from BuzzCon that kind of exploded and started spilling everywhere, because it's not a tow truck, because the car is currently underneath this truck. This is definitely a BuzzCon car that got rear-ended. Okay, let's go over to Boris's office. But first, we gotta talk about Murdy being back again, and Murdy's tweeting about his temporary office.
I think it's John Murdy right there.
John!
So Murdy tweeted out this: first day back at Universal Studios Hollywood. Glad to see everyone added a proper decor to my temporary office. Gonna start hitting all the houses and see how things are looking. So yeah, Murdy's not really there. He just kind of like lives in Ireland and then shows up for like a month or two and Zoom calls in. So that's why he has a temporary office.
Nothing with Boris's office. Maybe Boris is at his temporary office and that's where all the stuff is.
All right, so in horror movie news, big announcement for the Quiet Place franchise. Quiet Place 3 releases in theaters July 9th, 2027. John Krasinski will return as the director.
Over here, a fourth structure has appeared. Let's see how the first structure is, where the performer is going to be. The speaker hasn't been covered up yet, and we're still missing the branches going through the stained glass. So let's go see the new structure over here. All right, we're coming over here. All right, so again, a performer is not going to be in this little spot. They're still going to have the branches popping through the stained glass, and something's going to be appearing on this altar or something. And then the gates have all been ripped up like all the other structures. So they're kind of a copy and paste, but also subtly different. Okay, I just realized that every gate is a little different. If you look at these little kind of gated windows, do you see that design? You get like 3 circles. Kind of looks like the flux capacitor a little bit, but that's a different design. I think that'll represent whatever's happening here. And then here, it looks like a creature with its mouth open or something. We'll go to the other two and show you those designs. And then this window has a different design. And we'll go to the last one over here. And then this looks like some sort of tree. So all 4 of these little stages have a different design within them on the gates and the little windows in the back. I think the Jaws sippers sold out. They had them here, but they're all gone. They've changed the promotional poster over here. It's for the next season of Twisted Metal. The tournament is here. Game on. It's time for dirt update time. The dirt is still there. The pipes are being laid. And there's even the pipe sticking out of the ground over there. That is your daily dirt update. Time to go over the next section of Super Nintendo World merch. Let's go over the Princess Peach merch. $35, they're gonna have a Peach short sleeve shirt. $32, you can keep your drinks hot or cold. It says Super Nintendo World on it. $35 for the larger plush, and then $21 for the smaller one. So the size, a little bit different. $58 for the sweatshirt. It's got the crown little logo right there. Then on the back, it'll have Peach and her little castle. Then on the sleeve, it'll say Universal Studios in pink. $47, they have a kids version of that sweatshirt. $28, they have a kids version of the short sleeve shirt. $45 for this baseball cut tee. You have Peach and her castle right there. It says Peach. And then on the back, it'll say Universal Studios. $37 for a Princess Peach tank top. All right, on that note, office, AC.
Okay guys, we're back in the office. So Universal released some actual images that are properly taken without a giant flash with them. So they released them to USA Today. So let's go over all the images that were released. Okay, so the article says, see inside, Universal Horror Unleashed, a year-round haunted house opening in Las Vegas. So here's gonna be a better picture of Jack and Chance and kind of how the makeup looks up close. I still think it needs to be tweaked a little bit. Here's gonna be one of the Scarecrow themed dessert items. Here's a shot of how Frankenstein's monster looks inside the house. Here's a better shot at one of the bars that you can experience. This is how the seating area looks, and then the restaurant is gonna be in the back. You can see where the neon light is. Here's a better shot inside the Scarecrow haunted house. And then this looks like the entrance into Scarecrow, right? The kind of the queue area, the facade to enter in. We can see Leatherface off to the left with his chainsaw, and here's a better look at kind of how this scene looks inside the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Here's a better shot of how the Jack stage show looks, and then how the outside of Horror Unleashed looks during the nighttime. So I'm gonna have, again, a full review for you guys. When we go there, we're gonna try the food, the drinks, show off all the merchandise, POVs of the houses, let you know if it's worth it or not, if you're a local. If you live in Florida, is it worth traveling to? I hope it is. I have a lot of faith in it. I can't wait to kind of experience the interactive characters, because that was one of my favorite things at FanFest at Universal Studios Hollywood. That really made that event special. I think if they could pull off the character interactions, I think they might have something very unique. But guys, on that note, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
I love the family.
Because I'm gonna keep you up to date on all things Universal Studios and Halloween Horror Nights around the country. I love you all. I'll see y'all very soon.
It's gonna be BuzzCon. And then this looks like some sort of